Hello, this is Pastor Kitty of House of Faith Church in Coeur d'Alene. First of all, before I get started, I just want to show you something really cool. Look right up here. Let me see if I can put my finger on it. Isn't that cool? It's the cross on the top of the church next door. I didn't even plan that. There it is. Well, I want to give you a fountain talk today. And just the topic of this fountain talk is that God is in control. I just want to share with you an experience that I had in my life when, in a time where I was just really struggling and my life wasn't going in any way how I thought it should, according to my plans or even what I thought God's plans should have been in my life at that time. Things were really hard and my life was being affected by things outside of my control, and it was really making me wonder really how much control God took in our lives. Was he really in control? Did he really plan our steps and guide our lives? Those questions were just deep in my mind, in my conscious thought. I knew, that God is in control. I trusted that, but subconsciously, I was struggling with it, inside myself, and it was causing me anxiety and distress in my life. But at that time, God kind of took me away for a while. I got 5 weeks at a fire camp. And so it was 5 weeks outside, just camping. And it was really a wonderful time with God, a good time of rest and just a time to get away. But God really talked to me a lot while I was out there, and he did it just in a pretty unique way. He just opened my eyes to see the detail in the things that he's created. And one of the things that he brought out to me was the insects. There are a lot of bugs out there. And so I was just encountering different bugs every day, all different kinds of bugs. And I was just amazed by the just intricate detail that God puts into an insect. This thing that we think is such a pest, that, we don't really like insects too much usually, not most of us anyway, but these bugs. One day I saw this spider. It was this teeny tiny itsy bitsy spider, but it was metallic pink, a metallic pink spider. It was beautiful, tiny little thing. Yeah, there's other bugs that would just land on me as I was sitting there in my chair, and I would just, instead of shooing them away, I would just investigate them and look at just the amazing designs that God put on their shells and things like that. One day I found a bee, and the bees became very bothersome. Let me tell you, I got stung a couple times while I was out there, but I found a bee that had died, and it was just laying there, and I went to investigate it and look at it, and I want to share with you right now. I'm going to share my screen and show you my picture of this bee. Here we go. So here's the bee. Here's me up here so you can still see me. But look at this bee. What do you see? I mean, the first thing that pops out to you, what do you see? For me, it was this right here. Look at this. God put on the back of this bee an arrow pointing to the business end of this bee. Isn't that amazing? And not only that, but as I looked at it even more, I saw 2 hearts. See these hearts right here? There was hearts on this bee, just 2 matching hearts. And look at how much detail God put just even into the wings of this bee. There's 4 wings. I always thought bees just had 1 on each side, but there's actually 2 on each side. And they're just so paper thin. And it's just amazing, the design that, and just detail that God put into a bee. And as I saw more and more bees while I was out there, every single one of them had a different design. It's just kind of like with us, how our fingerprints are all different, and the just amazing design that God puts into every single snowflake. The Bible tells us that the hairs of our head are numbered, that God knows how many hairs we have on our heads. He knows our thoughts before we even do. And he even collects our tears, the Bible tells us. He knows every tear that we cry. God cares about every intimate detail of our lives. And that's just what he showed me while I was out there at that camp, just by investigating these bugs. And that just brings to mind a scripture that God tells us, why do we worry in life? And he says, consider the ravens. Just like to me, he was saying, consider these bugs. But here he says in Luke chapter 12, consider the ravens. They don't sow or reap. They have no storeroom or barn, yet God feeds them. And how much more value are you than a bird to God? And since, it says, and consider the wildflowers. They don't labor or spin, yet I tell you, not even Solomon in all of his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that's how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, how much more will he clothe you, O you of little faith? At that time in my life, I wasn't worried about my clothes. I wasn't worried about my food. I was just wanting to know that God was in control. That I wasn't in control, because gosh, if I was in control, I'd mess up everything. And other people, their decisions. God doesn't take our decisions away from us. We have that. We're free moral agents. We can choose. God has given us choice. And he doesn't take our choices away, and he doesn't take other people's choices away. I love it. I heard somebody say one time that God is a gentleman. He's never going to force us to do anything. He's not going to take our choice away. But God can work even through our choices and the choices of other people. God is still moving and working and orchestrating his plans. I like to say that God is the master puzzle maker. He's putting all the pieces together, using all these little intricate detail and designs in life to bring everything about according to his good will. And if we put our lives into his hands, he promises that he's not going to leave us, and he's going to work all things for our good. We can trust him to do that. I have one final verse here I wanted to read from you. This is for you. This is Proverbs 16, verse 9. And it says, a man's mind plans his way as he journeys through life, but the Lord directs his steps and establishes them. God is working in our lives, and we can make all different plans, and other people can make plans for or against us, but God is in control, and he's going to use these things to teach us. He's going to use these things to guide us, and he is able to bring about good even from very bad things. So I'm learning to trust him. And I hope that this Fountain Talk today encourages you to trust him a little bit more today too, and that your life will have a little bit more peace in it and less anxiety and stress, because God truly knows that there is a lot of things that we could be stressed about in this life. But he tells us not to be anxious about anything, but to talk to him about everything and trust him that he's going to work all things out for us, for our good, and that will give us peace despite our circumstances, peace that passes understanding. And he said that peace will guard your heart and will guard your mind. It'll give us strength. God says, don't worry, I'm with you. So be blessed today by knowing that God is with you, that he loves you, and that he's working all things for your good. Have a good day.